onto the attacker. Ensure your leg comes across both of his legs. Finish with elbows to the groin.
We're going to deal now with headlock. This is a headlock on the side. Now let's pay attention that the first move that I show you is including 4 components. One is the pressure points, weakness point, that many times can finish the fight right there. And then we have breaking down out to taking out of balance. So let's look at the pressure points, weakness point first. When somebody traps your head and tries to take you out of balance, you mostly have to be concerned about not to lose balance. So when he's coming to choke, and he's putting his hand around me, I have to move the outside leg to front in 90 degrees. This is going to block his pressure and he won't be able to take me down so easily. If I'm going to stay here and he's going to turn my head, I'm going to lose balance and he's going to be on top of me. On the other hand, if I'm moving with the leg forward, I'm creating a stopper. Now if you try to take me out of balance now, it's not going to be easy, just because of that leg. So moving from here, 90 degrees to him, bending the knees and placing it here will create a situation that we can do much better. At the same time, as we did with the choke from the back, removing the chin always to the narrow side of his hand, which is to his wrist. So I'm moving my chin to the side and tuck it in. My chin is now inside, underneath is wrist. This is create a situation that there's pressure on my chin, but he's not choking me anymore. So while I'm moving with my leg, I'm doing the move with the chin as well. Now the attack comes. One is the hand that's going from the back, taking momentum and attacking the groin. And 2 is moving the front hand to the groin. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. You see that my hand is like a spoon because in fight I will hold, grab, and basically squeeze. In a fight I'm going to squeeze. Right now, for practice purposes, right here, back, front. Don't just hit, grab in a fight. Grab in a fight. So let's look at that again. Balance and chin. Hit, hit. And now we attack the eye. We have 2 options. One is pushing the head down while we're squeezing the eye here. So the head is going down and this is the fingers are going into the eye. The second option, after we did that, I can move the back hand to the front of the face and put it right underneath his nose. From here, if I move it backward, the entire balance is moving backward. The nose is leading the head is leading the body. Here. If a guy has so much hair just the way all this is, which is a great gift, you hold him here and you pull it in a semicircle motion, first up to the ceiling and then back. Don't just pull it back, pull it up to the ceiling and back. For training purposes, what I would like you to do when you train is to break it down to 2 parts. The first, establishing your balance and creating pressure on his pressure points and weakness points. So the first part will be combining the establishing balance, growing eye. So it's look like that in training purposes. Legs moving here. One more time, do it a bit faster this time. After you did that and you're comfortable, the next step is just pushing his head or nose backward without going down with him. So we combine. If you're strong enough, you can take him down. But we have to be realistic. If you're a small person and you're big, you have to go down with it. Although you don't like it, but you have to. You want to assist? Put this hand underneath, and while you push the head back, or you pull the head back, you lift this leg up. So if you're strong, you can do it. But if you stretch your leg, it will be easier. So this time, When I'm down here with him on the ground, there are a few things that I can do. So let's pay attention. My hand is resting on his face. So if you look at my right hand right here, which is on the nose, I push his nose away, so basically he cannot turn to me, and rest on him and stand up. That's helping to stand up, kick. By pushing his nose away, we create a situation that he cannot turn to me.
Take a look at the key points for the side headlock. Turn your chin in to the narrow side of his hand while stepping to the front of him 90 degrees for stability. The hands hit his groin, simultaneously grabbing it, and as well hitting the back of the head, pulling up on the nose or pulling the hair back. Stretch your leg, falling back with the attacker, grabbing his knee. From there, push down on his nose, stand up, and leave the scene.
So the next move is going to attack the same way. Let's pay attention now to the pressure we're going to create it to his elbow and then to his shoulder, taking him down. Before you're going to start, remember that the first thing for you to do is the same as the first move. Establishing good balance and attacking the groin and the eyes. This is the first thing before you do the next continuation. So let's look at the first part, continue from there to the release of the hands. Rob is holding me. I'm putting my leg 90 degrees to him to establish my balance and tucking my chin sideways, facing the wrist and not the elbow. Again, do not move your head to here because you're going to get choked. Has to be to this direction. Tuck the chin. The choke won't be as strong as before. Groin, eyes. Now, place two hands underneath his wrist and fold it. Make sure that you're grabbing really tight. And since your chin is stuck here, what you want to do is to bite. You basically bite hard as you can right here to open his fingers. So you bite. This is one option. Or the second option is put a knuckle and 3 times here. Usually most of the people will open the hands if you knuckle them right here. So if you grab, you're going to do one hand underneath as a support, and you have the hand. Remember that you want to hold the hand underneath this way, both hands. So bite and open it just enough for you to pull the head out. From here, the head out. As the head go out, I'm going to leave the hand behind his back. Just pay attention. I'm holding underneath, both hands holding underneath his wrist. From here, I'm going to let go with the hand that close to the outside. This one. Turn behind him and hit him on the back of the head. As I keep turning, more pressure created on his shoulder. I'm placing the knee on his head, and here I can finish the move by pulling this hand toward me, which creates a lot of pressure on his shoulder.
For the choke, from the side now, still going to the groin with the chin inside tucked in, attacking the eyes as before. From here I have the option of biting on the hand, also coming behind, and releasing the head. Move behind the attacker, striking the back of the head from here, grabbing the hair if he's got it, which Rob does in this case. Moving to the side and front, dropping the knee on the back of the neck, controlling the arm from behind, still 90 degrees in the elbow.
The idea of the technique for level 2 is not to just counter punching, but also move to the back. So this time, every time you punch, we move to the back. For the next techniques, we're going to move to the back using his momentum. Let me break it down for you now. When Joel is throwing a punch at me, and he's throwing a punch with a lot of momentum, it's like a sucker punch, just like backward, strong punch forward. Usually there is a lot of motion with his body. If you can see now, he starts with his shoulder back, and now the shoulder moves forward. So look at him like a ball that's turning this direction, or the world is turning. When he's turning to this direction, and I'm turning to that direction, the move is relatively very fast, because there is a turning from him to here and from me to him. As opposed to if you stand over there, stand just naturally, and I'm going to try to go behind his back, not too many steps. But if there is a motion from his side forward, and I'm stepping behind him, it's only one step. It's only one step to be behind somebody if you move properly with a good timing. Obviously, we don't want to take chances, so we do move his hand. So when he's punching, the hand is moving, just as we did at level 1. Now I'm behind him. Let's see it one more time. If he doesn't step too much, just step a little bit. And here, I'm shuffling and I'm behind him. I'm here behind him. This is the position that we want to be to finish now with different finishing. There are a lot of different finishing that we're going to learn, but for level 2 you need to know 2 of them. One is taking down using the head. So basically, when I'm behind him now, I'm going to use the far hand, which will be my left hand, crossing to his face underneath his nose. From here, I'm going to lift the nose up in a 45 degrees angle over there. It's not enough just to pull the nose up. I basically have to do a semicircle back to where I came from. So look at my body now. I'm going to be here. As I'm holding here, I'm moving back to here. By turning, I'm creating a strong pressure. The power coming not from my hand, it's come from the turning. So if you look at the move from here, I'm moving to behind him, trap the head, going back to my place. Moving behind him, and back to my place. One more time. I'm behind him, back to my place. And let's look at that from different angles. Moving behind him, trapping the head, and I'm moving back with this leg backward to here. That creates a lot of force. Let's hit it a little bit more faster. As you're on the ground, we stomp the face, bringing the knee up to the chest and back to his face, and lift us in.
Let's go over the key points now for the level 2 defense against punch. Once again, pay attention to the shoulder, stepping to the side, redirecting the punch away. Trapping the shoulder, bringing the other hand from the nose and taking back. From here, we finish with the kick to the face.
This time we're going to deal with a sucker punch. It's going to be a hook. Joe going to hook with his right hand, and I'm going to react. The first thing I have to keep in mind is to place my hand in front of my body, watching his shoulders again. When I watch his shoulders, I can see which shoulder is dropping, so whatever you want to punch, I can see what's coming up. You have to remember that when somebody is standing sideways a bit, and there are 2 hands that you can attack, this one or the back one, you have to consider the front one as hospital and the background as cemetery. This could be much harder because you can get much more momentum. This is a sharp, fast one, but not as powerful as the back one. Hospital, cemetery.